because if it were to rise, it would be reality rearing its ugly head, and money would start to flow into something real and out of the complete fake digital synthesized ersatz world of derivative trading and casino gulagism, and that's why the price has been kept as low. But there are people out there who have a lot of money who are forcing the exchanges like the London Bullion Markets Association and COMEX, who are short 100 times. They have 100 times more orders than they have actual gold in the vault. So if these guys demand physical delivery of their silver, and it's proven and it's shown that they don't have the silver to deliver, you have what's called a short squeeze. So the market has to go out there and actually buy physical silver to deliver, and then you have this ramp up in the price of gold and silver. And that's kind of what people are waiting for right now, is they're waiting for the other shoe to drop. They're waiting for some major hedge fund to say, look, we want physical delivery of our gold and silver. We want it this month. I talked about this on your show last year. I thought this was going to happen on the COMEX last December, that they were going to bust the COMEX. And it looked like they were going to do that. There was a guy up in Canada who was suggesting that he was going to bust the COMEX by demanding physical delivery of his gold, and it never materialized at that time. But the pressure has just been building ever since. And as profit opportunities are dwindling, because now the SEC and other regulators are shutting down the Ponzi schemes, the guys with the big money, they realize that the last game in town, even George Soros said that gold bullion will be the last bubble. It'll be the last hurrah. The prices won't go to 2,500. Prices will go to 10 to 15,000. It'll be a huge bubble. It'll be the last bubble. And it's not too late. People got to own this thing now, because ultimately, when it's all exposed and it all comes crashing down, only those with the gold are going to be able to survive another day.
And it won't matter if you bought gold at 1,000 and it goes up to 15,000. When it busts, it goes back down to 6,000. It won't matter. The suckers are going to be the ones that are buying it when it's $10,000 an ounce.
The general rule of thumb is just every single month put some savings into gold bullion and just do it religiously every month. And this way you're always going to get an average price that's good, and you're going to be protected. Now, that's just, it's not going to shoot up 300% in a week like some dot-com stock. It's not going to be like Goldman Sachs crashing in a day that if you're short, you know, it's not a day trade. It's something you got to do and think about it intelligently and take an approach that works over time. I have been buying gold every month for 8 years.
Me too. A little bit every month. Now, let's get into Goldman Sachs. What does this SEC civil indictment mean?
Well, it's really fascinating because they came out swinging last Friday with a very strong civil indictment, and they laid out the case for alleged fraud, and they've opened the door now to others for criminal indictments, and there's going to be a lot of lawsuits. I'm looking for Andrew Cuomo in New York City. I think he could make a huge political gain if he did to Goldman what Rudy Giuliani did to Drexel Burnham back in the 1980s. If you remember, Drexel Burnham was the Goldman Sachs of its day before the stock market crash of '87 with Mike Milken and that crowd. Rudy Giuliani rode into town and busted up Drexel, and it launched a huge political career for Rudy Giuliani.
But this is much bigger, and Goldman Sachs is running the looting globally. They're at the top, as you know, of almost every government. I mean, I don't see them allowing this to be brought down, or are they getting ready to implode it, and are they already moving their assets out into a new shell?
Well, remember, the busting of Drexel and Ivan Boesky and Dennis Levine and that whole period resulted in a 22% drop in the Dow Jones in one day on October 19th, 1987. To put that into context, you'd have to have roughly a 2,500 point drop on the Dow in one day. So it was big news at the time. And it was really a seismic, it was the biggest crash in history at the time. So although we've seen really some pain in the last couple of years.
Well, stay there. Got a break, Max Keiser, maxkeiser.com. I'm Alex Jones with Infowars.com. We'll be right back.
If you suffer from poor sleep, you've got to try MyPillow. Introducing the most revolutionary, most comfortable, and coolest pillow ever, MyPillow. Imagine your very own custom-fit pillow. MyPillow is the only pillow of its kind on the market that uses a patented fill, custom-made to your exact individual needs. MyPillow is 100% made in the USA and has a natural built-in cooling effect that keeps your cervical nerves cool, and that helps you get the best REM sleep possible. MyPillow helps alleviate snoring, migraine, sleep apnea, and other sleeping disorders. MyPillow is antimicrobial, non-allergenic, dust mite resistant, machine washable and dryable, comes in many sizes and will not go flat. And best of all, MyPillow comes with a 10-year warranty and a 60-day money-back guarantee. So what do you have to lose except poor sleep? Go to MyPillowShop.com, mention coupon code GCN and receive up to $40 off. That's MyPillowShop.com or call 952-442-6199. That's 952-442-6199. MyPillow for the rest of your life.
They helped to create a new world order.
We are part of a new world order.
A new world order based upon collective action.
Invisible Empire is a damning indictment of the globalists through their own words and documents.
The new world order really is a tool for addressing a new world of possibilities.
It means all the world under their control.
The United Nations would take over America. The Trilateral Commission would control the world.
Invisible Empire chronicles how men of power and influence have worked in stealth for centuries to establish an oppressive world government.
I believe, first of all, that we now need nothing short of a world constitution for the global financial system.
Global governance with the establishment of the G20.
So it's going to be an inner ruling elite and then everyone else. And I got news for you. You're everyone else.
Invisible Empire. Secure your copy today at Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com or watch it online in the highest quality at PrisonPlanet.tv.
Times are tough, and you got to stretch that dollar. A special invitation for listeners to save. Sign up at DoubleShoppers.com today and start paying the absolute guaranteed lowest internet retail prices for the coolest stuff. New premium brand name TVs, laptops, watches, camcorders, Blu-ray players, and more. All with factory warranties, just like you get from a retail chain, except for the absolute guaranteed lowest internet retail prices. They start low and go lower with our reverse auctions. You save even more with your first $8 auction purchase. Doobly will give you an instant $25 dining certificate good at thousands of nationwide restaurants, plus a $500 vacation discount voucher, usable at hundreds of resorts around the U.S. and world. Sign up today at DoubleShoppers.com. Pay the absolute guaranteed lowest internet retail prices, and listeners receive special rewards. It's worth a peek to keep money in your pocket and the coolest stuff in your home and garage. Sign up today at DoubleShoppers.com. That's DUBLI Shoppers.com. You'll be glad you did.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
Max is with us 5 minutes into the next hour, and we got Luke Rudkowski popping in with a big coup with Stephen Colbert. But this is a big deal. I mean, is the SEC basically run by Goldman Sachs being forced to do this because of the political pressure? Is it just a slap on the wrist? Will the investigation be used to cover all this up? But absolutely what Max said is true. This will open up more investigations. Are they trying to beat states that have been filing civil charges against Goldman Sachs? That happened 2 weeks ago, 2 different states in the last 2 weeks. We're going to find out here. But if they get away with committing these crimes out in the open with their own documents proving this was premeditated with the housing market, the sky is the limit. Max Keiser.
Well, plus are facing suits in Greece, Germany, and the UK. You remember in Greece in the year 2000, Goldman engineered a swap that allowed Greece to hide debt that made them eligible for the euro. Now Greece is in deep financial trouble. The IMF is imposing austerity measures. I've been on Greek radio many times and telling them that they should not even consider paying back the debt because it was fraudulently induced by Goldman back in 2000. So they have no obligation to pay the debt. Don't pay the debt. Germany is saying, wait a minute, what about our banks that had to be bailed out based on these faulty bonds?
How devastating was it that Iceland said no last month?
Iceland said no to the $5 billion IceSave bill that the UK and the Netherlands wanted to try to extract from them based on the behavior of some, banking crooks, and they voted 93% said no. So the Icelandic people have taken a stand. and the Icelandic people. And now I talk to journalists in Greece, and the people in Greece are going to join with the people of Iceland. So this is becoming a global insurrection against banker occupation.
Okay, you just said it. So let me stop you. A global insurrection against banker occupation. So they're trying to sew it up now with a global government run by them to shut us down. And I've seen a year-long buildup to staged terror attacks, and the Fed's now hyping nuke attacks in the U.S. and trying to tie it into Iran and domestic groups. The only card I see them being able to play to launch new wars, Max, and to have a domestic clampdown is staged terror. What's your take on that?
Well, my stage is that this problem is happening all over the world in these other countries, and what we're seeing is this global insurrection against banking occupation. And through the internet and other means, people are getting together to figure out how to push back against the occupying force, the neo-colonial, neo-imperial force of these banking oligarchs on Wall Street and around the world. They're coming up with strategies to do that. And it's going to happen in pockets of resistance in countries and communities all over the world. This is not just an American problem.